What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Venomcast. I'm your host, the one and only, the infamous John K. To my bottom is my good friend and co-host for this week, Mr. Luke Peterson. And then to my, I guess it's to my, I don't know, who cares?
It's
Nathan
right.
Reynolds. Nathan Reynolds is next to me. The GOAT, the one and only, former driver of the 51 and the 38. Has not been a guest in a long time. So it's good to have you back. Boys, we got some shit to talk about. Some shit has gone down. So me and Luke were talking before the show. We haven't done one since Talladega, and Talladega was a big race right in the middle of the chase. Really, the big key there was survival. Then we went to Dover, and it was not pretty for some of us. And then we went to Kentucky, and gotta be one of the most stressful races I think I've ever run. So, I mean, I was not worried at all, but, you know, things kept happening, and I started getting more and more tense as each lap went by. So, let's start with Talladega, boys. I think everybody, for the most part, in the Alabama gang made it through. It's kind of hard to remember. For me, I guess I could just look at the race results, even though I said I'm not going to go through all of them. Josh Matichek, hats off to Josh. Josh picks up his first career win. Very exciting. I think Josh Matichek, I told him after the Kentucky race that he's a guy I expect to see him win in the next couple of seasons. He's really, really turned it on late this season. I think he had the best average finish during the chase, during the last 5 races, or something crazy like that Turn 200 brought up. Really talented guy. I believe Nathan found him on Facebook, and he's a super late model racer. Nathan doing his stalking stuff as usual.
Good at that.
Yeah, you are. I do want to give a special shout out to Tyler Bergert, Cole Maxwell, and Corey Rutherford, all with top 5s at Talladega. I finished in 10th, and that is impressive because that is only my second career top 10 at a super speedway in Venom. Luke finished down in 16th. What happened, Luke? You were in the lead pack.
Talladega was rough. I think it all started with our pit strategy. Because if you remember, we all pitted and the fuel was different for each of us. We didn't, some of us had auto fuel on, some people packed it completely full, and it split the gang and kick and whoever pitted with us up, and we ended up in little pockets trying to chase down the lead pack. So ended up like that. We were pushing to the front pack. Then the caution came out, and that was the infamous I'm leading, Andy's pushing me, and John K goes, "You need to pick it up. We're not going fast enough." And I said, fine, if you want to do it, go ahead, and pulled out of line and threw it to the wall so that 3 people could pass me so I could get in line and push. That was what happened at Talladega.
I thought we were, I completely, like, you can, if when you go back and watch this and you can watch my realization kick in of that, I just remembered that happened. I feel bad. I do. I should have approached that better. But I definitely did say, Luke, you, for the love of God, need to hold a fucking straight line here so we can catch them. And then Luke, I don't know how to...
I whipped it out of line. It was like pulling a parachute in the beginning of the laps trying to go to the back of the field. I'm like, you want it? You want it. And I just threw it up and just ducked into back like 6 positions back. Because it didn't matter at that point. We needed to catch the front group, and from there we could try to do something, but it was what it was.
The only way I can antiquate it is like when you tell your girlfriend something, or you piss her off, and you ask her later, "Hey, are you okay?" And she's like, "I'm fine." That's how it felt like. I felt so bad because Luke's just chilling back there, and I'm like, "Luke, I'm sorry," and he's like, "It's fine, dude, it's fine," and I'm like, "You sound bad. Like, it is clearly not fine." I will say the one thing Luke told me. Luke pulls out a line, and I'm like, "Where the fuck are you going?" He goes, "I'm going to the back." He goes, "You motherfuckers better push it to the pack, though." I'm like, I'm sitting there pushing Andy because big shout out to Broke Guy Racing. We worked with them at Talladega, and honestly, that was powerful pairings of teams there between Super Kick.
I know from experience that if you're half a track behind the leaders and you need to catch them, Andy's the guy to have in front of you. Because me and him had a two truck tandem like season 1, season 2.
Yeah.
And run down the lead pack.
Was that at Talladega?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So very reminiscent of that.
It was.
Which is awesome because like Luke's like, you better effing get him there. And
you want to go.
I was like, we're going then. And I start pushing on Andy and I'm pushing and I look at the relative and I look up and I'm looking at the relative and I'm like, we're making ground. And the thing that really helped was Jeremy had sped on pit road. And so he's
shocking,
a lap down.
We all know.
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah. And also the other surprising thing about this whole marriage, if you will, between Alabama Gang Super Kick and Broke Guy was the fact that I was pretty heated at Jeremy after Bristol. Like it was I made it well known that like Tuesday night into Wednesday morning I was very upset after watching it.
You were upset about something?
Shut the hell
up. No. He's always calm. Didn't you hear him talk about Kansas?
Yeah.
But you know, and then we made the podcast, and Jeremy texted me, and he was like, "Whoa, wow, a whole podcast shitting on me, eh?" And I was like, "Well, it's how I was feeling in the moment, you know, like." Because I'll be honest, I'll tell you exactly what I was feeling on Tuesday, but I watched the broadcast back, and I realized that like him and Chad would have hit anyways, so I was cool. Like I was chilled out by that point. Jeremy was with that lead pack, and I don't know if he did it intentionally or if he just got shuffled out and ended up a little bit behind them, but Jeremy ended up actually bridging the gap between our little pack and the lead pack. Jeremy ended up, he fell, like, we had pushed up pretty close. We were like 1.7 off the lead pack, and then Jeremy ended up falling off the lead pack a little bit, and he was 1.1 ahead of us. And I think I said it out loud, but I definitely thought it. I was like, yes, Jeremy, like, bridge the gap, give us a little bit of draft. And then next thing I know, we're right up there, and I'm so pumped. I'm like, yes, like, we did it. Like, I did the one thing Luke asked me to do after I was, you know, a little bit of an asshole. And then literally, like, we get up there, we're chilling. I'm like, sweet, we got a couple laps. We can just ride around. We can start making a move. And then Andy gets wrecked.
I was about to say Andy went because the Terminator truck. Lord.
It's like a war movie when you're like, you think the battle's over and you're sitting there and you're like, yes, like, hell yeah, we did it. And then somebody gets sniped because, you know, there's like an hour and a half left of the movie. Like, that was exactly how I was feeling. I was so pumped. And then Andy got turned, and that caution really kind of flipped things on its head. I think we were just outside the top 10. And then some people got shuffled back, and I got extremely lucky. I started trying to work with Hayden, and we were just looking for a gap anywhere we could go. We were all over the track, and I was getting his truck all sorts of upset. So not the best pushing on my end to end their race in Talladega. But it, you know, coming away with a 10th place at a track that I was honestly like, this could ruin everything. Like, had a bad race at Bristol already, and like my whole thing going into the chase was like, I can really only have one bad race. And we'll get to that. So I was thoroughly pumped. 10th place, finished one spot ahead of Schlosser, picked up huge stage points too.
That's the big thing there.
Yeah,
yep.
It was stage points you got that he didn't get.
Yeah, so
a lot of the guys you were racing against didn't get.
I think Schlosser was leading the points going into Dega. I'm not 100% certain on that.
I think y'all were tied.
Were we tied?
I think you guys were tied by race 3.
You're right. Me and Schlosser were tied. But we are lining up for stage points. And I think we're in. I know I'm in trouble because we're supposed to restart like 14th or 15th or something, and then ICR pit, which surprised me. And again, I didn't realize this until after Kentucky, and I'll explain why after we get to Kentucky. I didn't realize how big of a moment this was and what helped us get to this point. But again, talking about the broke guys, Steve Roman came home third in the stage, and I went from like 10th to second. And me and Hayden got linked up, and we freaking pushed. We shuffled Schlosser out. I don't know why. I don't know what I don't really know what happened there. I'm not sure if Hayden got his truck upset and he went to the high side, or if he just pulled out of line because he was feeling uncomfortable maybe, or what happened. But Matt goes to the top, so we shuffle him out and I push Hayden and we close that gap, and he pulls right up to Zach Lockett's back bumper. And Steve's doing a great job being the third truck behind us. And I tell Hayden, I go, well, if everything goes ideally, we're going to push him. We need to push him up front. He'll drop to the bottom, and then you and me are going to steamroll past him. And Hayden's like, okay. And he starts laying it to Zach, and I'm freaking right on Hayden, and Steve's right on me, and we push Zach out, like, big time. And he drops to the bottom, and I was like, perfect. And so just kept the hammer down, obviously, at a plate track. It's not exactly letting off the gas. But Steve was a huge help because you really needed that third truck in line, like, big time. And it had to be somebody really, really good. And Steve did a great job. Pushes me and Hayden clear. We dropped down in front of Zach, and then Steve got a push from somebody because he ended up finishing third in the stage. So that was huge. Like, me and Nathan have talked about it, and that's why Nathan's on the podcast. We couldn't find anybody else, and he wanted to jump on.
Oh yeah.
But I talked to Nathan a lot through this season, and obviously being in a championship battle, you know, this, who better? You can see all the silverware down there. Who better to talk to than the guy that's won just about everything here? And the biggest thing he harped on, like at the beginning, starting at the beginning of the season, was stage points. It was stage points, stage points, stage points, and yeah, got 9 big ones right there at Talladega, obviously. In the
You got a couple other bonus points too, though. Like, it's hard to go into a race like that in practice because there's nothing really to practice because you can't replicate the draft that you have with everybody. And I kept telling you over and over, practice the one thing that you can gain points from and control on your own.
Look at who it is.
That's getting hey, go get your trophy. And that was for you to get the pole and lead a lap. And those 2 bonus points that came into play big time for the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at any of the points I got from Dega, and they're all huge. Like,
I experimented a lot with qualifying there, trying to figure out exactly what was the fastest, and then send it to you. It was like, here, you got to do this to a T, though. Because I mean, it's just there is a way to do it, and then there's a right way and a wrong way. And if you don't do it right, then
we got both of them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Then you end up back in like 18th where I was.
Yeah.
That was the rough start about Dega. A lot of us qualified bad, but John getting that pole was huge. It made a huge difference in the rest of the race.
Nathan emailed me, or he messaged me. I had just gotten home, and he's like, I sent a qualifying lap to your email. What's up, boys?
He got his Sam Mayer hat, too.
Oh, yeah.
A little future champion right there. Bentley with the hat on. Davey, no hat on. They're awesome.
What, buddy?
All-Star Open winner, by the way, Bentley Reynolds.
Yep, with his trophy. Man can hold a line.
Yes, better than
almost got the pole in Carb Cup the other day.
Almost got the pole in what?
Carb Cup.
Jeez.
Sunday.
Oh,
he qualified second.
Well,
that's my trophies.
Look out, everyone.
What's
that? I got them piled up for him to see.
I know.
I normally don't have them out, do I?
We all know, obviously, how good Nathan is, but yeah, Bentley's gonna be just as good. That's terrible to think about.
He's starting about three years sooner than I did. I think I started when I was 9. Let's see, 02. Well, about 10. So 9, because 02 would have come out in 01. Is always a year ahead.
Yeah.
So I started league racing when I was 9. They didn't know that I was 9. And I think I won I don't remember. I was 10 or 11 when I won a championship. But back then, it was so much different than than what it is now. Like there's never a face to the name or anything. You don't know anybody.
Right.
MySpace wasn't a thing then. Nothing. Like you just
nobody had
for granted who you were
podcasts.
racing against. Yeah.
Nobody had podcasts about their league.
Right.
So the big storyline heading out of Dega, Hunter and Grav pushed all the way up to P2. One impressive thing I saw him do just before pit stops was he pushed Corey from the back of the field up to like the front. And that's the one thing I wish I would have done was go up front before pit stops for a little bit better track position. And it's one thing we didn't do, but Hunter comes home second. I come home 10th. 1 point ahead of Schlosser Matt didn't get any stage points. So we head into Dover and I have a 5-point lead in the championship. And it all kind of hit the fan for me at Dover.
Hunter, like he talked about earlier, Hunter takes all 3 bonus points to start. He leads the most laps. He leads
led every
all
lap.
of the laps.
He led every single lap
and takes the pole first.
Yeah. I will
say, you did get good stage points though.
And that is critical that I do that. I get 3rd place stage points. And really the thing that kind of tipped the race out of my favor, I think, was I was going around Hunter. I was at his door and gaining when the caution came out early. I think it was lap 9. It was lap 8 or 9. And it's funny because I had texted Nathan earlier in the day, and there was a window where if the caution came out, I was going to pit. And this was just before the window. And I decided it was not beneficial for me to pit there, and it would have put me in the back. Starting to think maybe, who knows? I mean, again, nobody really knows what would have ended up happening. But tried something late in the race, trailing Hunter by a good chunk. I'm going
to guess it was somewhere in the 3 to 5 second range, probably.
Yeah, it was. We were just hanging out. And we're getting closer. We go through the midpoint of the race, and I'm just sitting there, and I was like waiting, and I knew I could be really good in clean air. And I took a swing, and it didn't end up working out for a completely different reason than I thought. I did something similar at Nashville Super Speedway earlier this season. I was in traffic and I pit and was really only like 5 or 10 laps away from winning the race. I think if I had to pit 5 laps later, I would have been okay at Nashville. So I'm waiting because you could go 70-ish laps on a tank of fuel, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and I'm like, we get to about 60 to 59 to go. I'm like, I'm pitting. Like, this is it. We're gonna go for it. If it doesn't work, I mean, I think the worst that happens is I probably end up running 2nd or 3rd. So I pit with like 60 to go, and I'll admit, again, this is something else that really kind of, it drove me nuts because of the fact that it had happened. But trying to pass Gary on like 2 or 3 lap old tires and praying that a caution doesn't come out, and Gary was struggling a little bit, and he went to do what he thought was the right thing, which, it's tough being a lapper, and it is. And I spent the rest of the race being a lapper, and I mean I've been there a lot. It is tough. But Gary tried to do what he thought was right, and honestly, I can't argue what he was trying to do. He was just trying to get out of the way. He was on the bottom. I thought he was going to stay to the bottom. Gary saw me coming, and the closing rate was really, really quick, and I ended up getting into the back of him as he tried to pull from the bottom up to like the top lane, completely out of the middle and bottom lanes. and I probably should have just jumped on the radio and said, "Just stay down low. It's okay." Because he was like coming up from the apron or something. He had ended up down there. I'm not sure if somebody had pushed him down there or what.
He clipped the wall coming out of 4, struggled across the start finish, goes the apron on entry, sees you coming, and is kind of holding bottom and jerks it right as he gets to you because he sees you in his rear view. But he was on the apron. He had a tough lap before that anyway, so the truck wasn't going exactly the way he wanted it as it was.
Yeah. So again, something that I was frustrated about at the time, but it was not. I'm not gonna say it's not 100% Gary's fault. It's not. It's 50-50. It's just one of those things that shit happens and it happens quick, you know?
In those situations, it's not necessarily about holding a certain line, being high or being low. It's about being predictable. And honestly, it's your job in certain situations to see that maybe you need to help somebody be just that and just flat out tell them what to do. And the best way for them to be predictable is to do exactly what you tell them to. And I think hindsight 2020, you learned really quick there, as we'll get to later on for the final race, that it's a lot easier to lose a championship than anything else, and you can easily lose one. And that's exactly how Hunter got the points lead from you, and how you got it in return. Is whoever had the lead flat out lost it.
You just spoiled the end of the story. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
I said we'll get to it.
You just
I think most people that are listening to this know.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so I end up 2 laps down, and Luke pointed it out, stage points.
Yep.
I'm only, I can say only now. I'm in a huge hole going into Kentucky. Obviously, Hunter wins, leads all the laps. I have to apologize to Schlosser because he ends up stuck a lap down. Only finishes 1 spot ahead of me. Sorry, Matt, that I may have ruined your race on accident because I was, not thinking correctly at the moment. Luke, you had a good run. You finished in 7th. Paul had a good run. Hayden had a really good run.
Hayden had a great run.
Good team day, I will say.
Eric was in the top 10. That was Eric's finally a race that finished, because that was what happened at Dega that we didn't talk about. Is Eric got wrecked again. He finished like 29th. So this was the first race in like 10 races that Eric wasn't in a wreck.
And then Kyle just outside the top 10. Garrett in 14th. Again, just really good days for everybody on the team. And I was super happy. I was super happy about that. But again, frustrated at my own situation. And then the points come out, and I'm 22 points behind Hunter going into the last race. Now, normally, this would not be a huge deal. Or it would be a huge deal, I should say. But because of the way we did things this season with stage points, it changed the game completely, honestly. So my whole goal going into Kentucky is just do what I can, and like Wednesday through Monday is like just do, try your best. I mean, at the end of the week, I started thinking this is Monday, or it might have even been Tuesday. I actually started thinking this, but I was like, it's really a win-win situation. You go into Kentucky, you race your best race, you don't win the championship. That's fine. Nobody expected you to win the championship going into the race. But on the other hand, some shit could go down and you could win the championship. And then I found out Hunter had a drive-through, which I did not know was a thing until Monday night, early Tuesday.
His 4th lane change of the year. We reviewed it. We talked about it afterwards. It was something Nathan talked about earlier with talking to Gary. We had talked to Gary after Dover about being predictable. But during that review, Hunter shades about a half a lane to the top lane, blocking the top before they start an entry. Like I said, gets his 4th or 5th lane change penalty, and that wound into a pass through. So he's starting at the back of the field. And John figures that out right before the race.
Yeah, I literally find that out like Tuesday morning. Luke, and I just want to say you are a league council member.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but technically that many lane change violations should actually be a race off, correct?
That's what I was
Yeah.
Y'all
going
were
for.
courteous to him.
Yep, that's
We were courteous to everyone this year, I think, because violations. There's a violation in this race in Kentucky that happened, and certain said racer, Mr. Stearns, was already on probation, so he really probably should be taking a couple race vacation. Not complaining over an EOL he got, but math's hard.
I don't think he knows. He said, "I'll look at the rules."
Oh, I know. It's hard to read.
Chad don't care.
He doesn't. He really doesn't.
Man, listen, and I told this to somebody.
And a dang good racer too, but he don't care about that rule.
I told somebody else this, and I race with Chad all the time in officials. If he would actually care about league racing and apply himself, he could easily be sitting there where John is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, Chad's a great racer.
He's one of the best.
Chad's
he really is.
And I think we'll talk about that more later. Honestly,
we're going to, because we're going to talk about his race at Kentucky was something, man. I'm telling you.
So let's talk about good old Kentucky. Where did Chad
started 17th.
He actually
and
qualified.
actual track. Impressed. He qualified, but started 17th out of what, 30 racers?
Yeah.
And on track finishes third.
Yeah.
He drove forward an ungodly amount.
How many trucks?
Without any practice.
Well, he probably ran about.
He had the most passes of anybody in the race with 38. He had 38 total passes.
No, that's Corey, sir.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
Chad's up there. He's 28. I'm sorry, 28.
28. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Qualifying did not go it didn't go as great as I would have liked it to. I started 8th. I struggle at qualifying on 1.5 miles. It's just my thing. I'll get better at it. Kentucky's won. I think the last time we raced here in season 3, I struggled qualifying too, and I drove pretty well up the field in that race too, because I have good race pace, but I just can't find the qualifying pace. Luke qualified next to me in 7th.
Yeah, we started side by side.
I think I got the jump on you. Kyle qualified 3rd and actually got 2nd from Brody on the initial start. And then once Hunter pit for his...
Hunter started on the pole.
Yeah, because Hunter got the pole. That's 1 bonus point. So I'm in a 23-point hole before the race even starts, before we even take a green flag. Ziddle does a great...
He made a
racecraft, yeah.
He made a tremendous mistake right out of the gate.
Yep.
Right out of the gate.
Hunter
28-3, and he threw an interception. He should have stayed out and led a lap.
Yep. Get his bonus point, then pit on the 2nd lap.
Yep.
Yeah, so Hunter does not stay out and pits on lap 1.
Ziddle takes the 1st lap and leads. Brody in 2nd.
Yep.
Were you in 3rd? Or did I pass you later? Because I was in 3rd eventually. I got to 3rd pretty quick.
You were in 3rd. I was following. Yep. I was stuck behind you. Nathan, what were you about to say?
I was saying John was hanging around 6th or 7th quite a bit during that race.
Yeah.
Not had good race pace. It was really, 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 really hard to pass. I think it was easier to pass at Dover than it was.
That was a really bad setup. Kentucky was an old setup that was made before the refresh, that was added to a track with the refresh, so it just didn't match. And the sad thing is officials go to Kentucky the week after Phoenix, so
we'll get a new set.
Should get a good setup.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Well, that explains a lot, because it did feel like it drove a lot like it did in season 2, except for 1 and 2. You were pretty well flat out through 1 and 2 the entire race in season 3. My bad, not season 2. You were flat out through 1 and 2 the entirety of the season 2 race, I feel like, because it reminded me so much of Texas, just backwards. Really weird 1 and 2 at Texas, and then a pretty well flat out 3 and 4, and then you go to here, and it's like 1 and 2 is pretty well flat out and banked, and then 3 and 4 really flat and weird and awkward. Yeah, so we just kind of tried to chip away. Brody is splitting up Kyle from me and Luke, and then Kyle starts to wear out his tires a little bit. Him and Brody had a really dang good battle up front for the lead. I was hoping Kyle would make Kyle would make Brody wear his tires out a little bit more, so me and Luke could pull up to him. I was just chilling behind Luke. I wanted to get past him, but we were so even. I feel like even if I'd have got around you, it would have just been, instead of me being stuck in dirty air, it would have been you stuck in dirty air. So I was like, I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna try and pass him. I'm just gonna ride here, and then once we get to, and the one thing I do kind of wish we'd have flipped spots, because I think we ended up getting caught by Modachek and Paul and Andy may have been a part of that little pack that caught us up right before pit stops.
Funny about it was Zittle fell to us. Like you said at one point, man, we're just even, and it's hard for me to get around you. And I was like, I know the feeling, because I pulled up to Zittle's bumper. But what was funny about that was I got to Zittle's bumper at like 35, because Pitt was
you pit
38.
On 38.
I pit on 38. I know. Pitt was like 35 to 45, or you could go longer, but everybody was planning somewhere around 42. And me and Zittle had talked about it earlier in the day. Me and Zittle had decided, with how it drove, that passing people on pit lane, like you talked about earlier, like we did in Nashville, was the way to go. So we had a plan that we were actually originally going to pit on 36, and Zittle didn't want to pit, and I was going no later than 38. At 38, I was coming in, and wherever I panned out, I panned out. And I got to Zittle's bumper, but he just started driving away from me. By the time we got to pits, I used the Nathan rule, because Zittle said something about, like, I'm going to stay out till 40. And I was like, I'm 2 or 3 seconds behind Zittle. I need to try to make it up on pit road. I'm going down. Yep. So I pulled it at 38. I think you came in.
You pulled a me.
But what was funny, you were talking about Nashville earlier, and me and you pitted together at Nashville. Because me and you finished. Yeah, we were right together in Nashville, because we got blown by Jeremy. I was like right behind you. But anyway, I pitted early. I cycled out to the lead, except for freaking everybody decided to run to Kingdom Come. Yeah. So I never let a lap. I had like a 5-second advantage on Brody, and I think that was all of about 4 laps, and he caught me and blew by me.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. I knew you guys kept talking like you had a plan, and I'm sitting there, and I was like, what are these guys thinking? Like, I want to... Oh, that's sick. Is
nice.
That Todd Gilliland?
Brett Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt.
Nice.
I'm like, I kind of want to short pit him. I was like, because if I can get in front of him, I think I have better long run pace and I can stay in front of him. And then Luke goes, I'm pitting, hangs a left. I'm like, shit. I was like, I needed that. I was like, I needed to pit before him. And then so I pit before Kyle and ended up coming out.
You were behind me, weren't you?
Yeah, by a lot. You were like, by the time I could see you on my relative, you were like 4 seconds ahead of me, and I pit 2 laps. I think I pit on 40. I started trying to pull away from. I think Kyle may have pit before me. I can't remember. I just know. I know for sure you pit. I pit before.
I pit, and then I thought you and Andy came in, and then Kyle came in after. What I do know is that when you came out of pit road, passing was hell. Yeah. Because the cars would go to the bottom, but they were tight and they would push. I dented 2 bumpers.
I got really close. I think it was going into 3 and 4. Pretty sure it was going into 3 and 4. I almost ran Josh Freed flat the fuck over.
So if you almost ran him over, you wouldn't notice his bumper was dented, which was no loss for me. And if you listen to this podcast, Josh, you wrecked my ass at Bristol. So if you got dented, you got dented. Feels bad. I wished I'd have hooked you, to be honest, but life goes on.
Oh my God. So I almost ran him over. I thought he was going to go to the bottom, and he stayed in the middle. And next thing I know, me, Andy, and Kyle are lined up.
Y'all were all together, and I was out in front, and I was like, y'all just fight back there. I'm going to run around in seconds.
Trying to drive away from these guys, and every bit of lap traffic is just killing me and killing me and killing me. And then Modachek ends up, he went longer, and he ends up coming around us.
Dude, Modachek brought the speed, man. Oh God.
Sorry.
I'm scared.
Oh my gosh. That is the Undertaker, I think.
Yeah. This is why you guys get to see exactly why I'm not racing, why I don't race.
What life is like with Nathan.
Yeah. But like, so Brody had an 8-second lead on me. Brody just drove away.
Yeah.
And Modicek got by y'all and drove to my bumper, and we were at about 52 to go because I was defending him. I know it was near 50.
It was I think we'll back up.
Because I know by the time okay, go ahead.
We'll back up real quick because something really big happens at the end of the green flag pit cycle. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just driving my butt off.
Oh,
I know Hunter's back there somewhere, probably already passing cars. Nathan pops into Discord and he goes, Hunter just sped on pit road. Finish the race. And I'm like, I almost wrecked right there because Nathan just scared the crap out of me. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't actually almost wreck. But like everything in my body went tight. Like I was white knuckling the wheel after that. I was like, I went from,
all you had to do is finish 11th, and then y'all sit there for a half an hour trying to figure out if you won or not. And I'm like, I already told you this.
It was,
well, way to ruin the suspense, Nathan. Jeez.
It was crazy though. But he had speed. Obviously, we all know. I mean, he qualified on pole. Brody had pointed it out to me. We were sitting in the interview thing after, and he's like, "Dude, I caught him at one point, and he just drove away from me like I was sitting still."
Yeah.
So if he just stayed out and like ran a normal race and stayed conservative, he was probably fine.
Oh, he was 100% fine.
He just king sends it into pit road.
And it's
I don't know what it's like to speed on pit road. I don't know that I've ever.
Put your phone down, Nathan.
Put your phone down, Nathan. You're gonna speed on pit road.
Texting and
one time,
Miami, Jeremy, right?
One time, no, Miami. I didn't put enough fuel in.
Miami was fuel.
I sped on pit road at Miami. Threw away.
That's
I remember that. But anyway,
that'd be a whole podcast to sit and talk about the races I lost for doing something stupid.
Yeah, like driving into the water barrels at North Wilkesboro.
That was intentional. I got tired of pacing around.
That's fair.
But at that point, Hunter traps himself basically 2 laps down. Like he's stuck.
Yeah, and then we get stage points, and again, huge thing. Zittel probably could have passed me. But he goes, you're getting 4th place stage points here. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even realize I was in 4th place. I was trying to run Modicek down. He goes,
if y'all had caught me, there was no way that I wouldn't have just let you by. Y'all were 2.5 seconds back, or 2.5 back.
Yeah, we were catching you.
Y'all were like 1.7, and I was defending Modicek. And I'm like, if they get here and John gets around the outside, it is what it is.
Yeah,
like,
we
those are points that he can use that don't help me.
So, end up finishing 4th in the stage. So the gap, that's 7 points. So the gap goes from 23 to 16, I think. The math is mathing. So yeah, all I have to do is just finish 17 spots at least ahead of Hunter. And, and then the caution comes out like just after stage points get handed out. And just like we're going to restart with on lap 80. And I'm like, 80, 125. I was like, well,
exactly a stint.
I was like, that's perfect. I was like, I'm pitting. Like, I don't care if everybody else stays out. I don't give a shit. Like, that's their loss. Like, I'm not losing a pit stop because I stay out on something stupid. Thankfully, everybody pits, and pit road at the end of pit road is fucking calamity. As I come out of my pit box, I pull out of my pit box. I think Luke was pitted
3 wide, I think.
You were pitted 1 in front of me. I come out on your quarter, and Josh Modicek goes by my outside, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I let all the way out of the gas.
I was inside of Modicek for most of the exit because I spun my tires and wheeled out. When I wheeled out, we were together. So it was nuts.
It was bonkers, to say the least. So I think I restarted 7th or 8th. And
I restarted 4th because Brody had the lead.
Yep.
Chad was 2nd. Chad came in from like 5th and came out 2nd because we all thought he had taken 2 tires. Yeah, actually, he came out in the lead because Brody was in 2nd.
Chad came, maybe it was Chad and not Modicek that came.
Because Modicek was 3rd. He was under me, so it was Brody, Chad, Modicek, me, I think, and I lined up behind Chad. On the top. Chad was 2nd because I was nervous that restart was going to kill me because he famously likes to, lay back.
Yeah.
On restarts.
I thought I was going to die on pit road, and I was like, this is not how this ends. Like, this can't be how this ends, And so we restart, and I was like, okay, all I have to do now is take care of the truck. I was like, I can go past people, like, it'll be tough, but I can do it.
Oh, this
And
was the restart too, where Mr. Stearns decided to change lanes.
yeah,
He's in front of me. Brody gets a jump, and he immediately whips it down in front of Matichek to the bottom lane, right off the bat.
Was not good. So ended up having to just take care of the truck on the restart. I don't remember where I restarted. I wish I could remember where I restarted. I feel like I
I
restarted
really think
on the
you were
bottom.
6th behind me. Were you bottom? Then you were 7th.
I don't remember. I was 6th or 7th. But ended up having to pass a couple of people. I think Kyle was one of them.
His truck didn't have the same go that it did in the first stage. It was like something happened with Zittel, and the truck didn't grip up. I think dirty air really affected him because he had run insanely well in clean air all weekend long.
Yeah, he ran so good in clean air.
Weekend, whatever, y'all get it.
That dirty air was bad. It was tough.
Kentucky's terrible. That's why they quit racing there in real life. Dirty air's magnified there compared to any 1.5.
Yeah, I feel like if the setup hadn't been so tight, it would have been a little bit better. But I think it being tight like it was, and then dirty air, the tire wear was nice, I will say. I feel like it actually promoted people trying to pass. Oh, Luke's looking at the restart right now.
You started 5th.
I restarted
5th. Brody, Chad, Matichek, me, you, Zittel. And then Andy was behind you and Paul was behind him. Logan and Jeremy, top 10.
Okay, so I think Kyle got by me on the restart because I think I remember passing
because you ended up behind him.
Yeah, I ended up having to pass him, and then I passed Andy. Quite possibly in the funniest way possible, and it was just great. I just asked him nicely, and I didn't actually think he would, and he kind of. In fairness, I had ran him down also. But yeah, Andy gave me one more spot, and then I was running down Josh Matichek, and I was just praying for a caution not to come out, because that caution came out not at a great time, but it came out at just about as good of a time as it could, because, I mean, for me, because Hunter was still a lap down when it came out. Or he was 2 laps down.
He was 2 down.
Got his lap back, and it was close enough to the end of the run that he had to pit not long after that, so he ended up going back down 2 laps and got trapped. I mean, where did he end up? He ended up finishing 25th.
Oh, 25th.
So,
but he was the problem there. What was beauty of it was one fuel stint.
Yeah.
And everybody needed to pit when that came out pretty much. We had run a long time, and everybody was planning on running fairly long anyway. So it wasn't during a cycle. It wasn't any weird spot where it made him up a lot of ground.
Yep. And the one thing
he done what he needed to there, though. I mean,
he did
stay out and rely on a caution, and he almost got the caution, but
he did single car spin,
and he he just bad circumstances there, but.
Bad luck for him.
It was.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you say that all you want, but you create your own luck, as we always say. And I mean, his Holy Doug was the week before, and he knew he pretty much had Hail Mary in his head this week, thinking that he had to Hail Mary you in a week that you thought you had to Hail Mary him, which is hilarious to me.
And then I realized I didn't have to, and I just kind of had to just run a halfback draw. I just had to run a halfback draw on 3rd and 9.
Shut up and drive, John.
It's like I said earlier, and I can say it again now, but I mean, it's easier to lose one of these things than it is to win.
Yeah, that is for sure. So, lap 125, we're gonna skip over a lot of people venting frustration at the end of the race with, I'd say, less than 20 laps to go. I may or may not have been one of them, and I may or may not have had my entire team tell me to shut the fuck up.
Just drive.
As soon as I clicked the button,
have you got the soundboard?
Yeah. I can't use it because I don't have the thing.
As soon as I queued up, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said no, just be quiet, and I heard it, and I just started going off on on a lapped truck, and I shouldn't have done that because it was not smart. Um, and I apologize for it. Me and that person, I reached out. Whether they actually accepted the apology, I can't really tell from the message they sent me back, but I shouldn't have done that. That was not smart. But I was pretty wound up at that point. I think there was only like 10 to go when that happened. There might have been less than that to go. But I was running down Josh Modicek and couldn't quite catch him. So Brody ends up coming home in P1. Luke comes home with a very strong finish to the year in P2. 3.5 seconds off of his first career win. It's coming, I promise. You're going to get
3.5 seconds.
Josh Modicek gets third place after Chad Stearns gets moved to the end of the line for the restart violation.
Chad was all over me. I defended him the whole about the last 10 laps of the race was Chad all over me, and I pulled a little bit back away.
Yeah, you did. You done good, kid. You done
God,
good.
he was fast.
I finished fourth, and then it was just a bunch of waiting to actually find out where Hunter finished. So I'll make everybody else wait in case they don't know. Andy comes home in fifth. Tyler Logan in sixth. Hayden Palumbo in seventh. Him and Tyler had a really good run to the finish. I watched that. It was good. That was good stuff. It actually ended up causing Eric to flip over, and his truck was destroyed by the time he found me after the race. Zach Lockett in eighth. Kyle Zittel, great run for Zittel. He finishes in ninth. Deserved much better. Led 17 laps also. Paul Ellison in his last full-time race for the foreseeable future comes home in 10th. Shout out Paul. Brantley Gainey in 11th. Austin Holyfield in 12th. He got robbed of most improved driver. Kinda. I don't remember who ended up winning most improved driver. Lockett did. I mean, that's too.
Who finished eighth? I mean, those were the two best options in the league this year for guys that just drove dang well.
Who'd you say got robbed of most improved?
Holyfield.
Oh yeah, I think I voted for Brantley, but I think Brantley's probably the most improved since I've seen people come in here on day one and what they've done.
That's fair.
If you look at the standing, Brantley does have one.
Brantley has the most improved driver.
Yeah, but he's still consistently improving, I think.
If you look at the standings for the season, Lockett had 6 top 10s and 0 top 5s, and Holyfield where is Austin? Austin had 2 top 10s this season, but they both drove right outside or at the top 10 all year long.
And I mean, Austin's another one of those guys, like, I don't know how long Zach had been doing it before he joined the league, but Austin hadn't been doing it very long. Him and Ethan Patterson joined the league at the same time. And, I mean, Austin has improved greatly. I don't want to say anything mean, but, like, at first it was kind of like, oh, get me away from this guy. And now
everybody, it's not mean, though. Everybody struggles. I struggled when I came into iRacing the first time. I remember running dead last in lobbies.
The first thing that popped in my mind was not very nice, so I wasn't going to say that. But, like, Austin was... It was kind of like, okay, I don't really know this guy that well, but I also know he's been involved in a lot of shit. So, like, I would like to get away from him. But now, if I see Austin in my mirror, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. Like, I like racing him. Jan finishes.
That's why you have that award. I mean,
I know, I agree.
Award. I mean, you start out, if you don't know, you don't know. And there's no fault to that. Like I said, I've run dead last in plenty of lobbies, and I can remember that when I first started doing this, I thought I would come into iRacing and be awesome right out of the gate, just from experience that I had, and it's not the case. And there's no shame in that. It's just, you take racing in league like this and around the people that are fast, and you start to learn what you're supposed to do. It's taking that and developing into what you need to, and that's why you have those people that are have improved, like Austin and others. And I think Zach runs a lot of officials. I noticed his iRating had climbed up quite a bit too, so I think he's got a lot of seat time. But I mean, there's no shame in saying somebody struggled when they first come out, because everybody does. You got to learn. You don't know.
What I was gonna say at first just wasn't very nice.
I imagine that.
I mean, season 5, I had like 2 top 10s, and I got most improved in season 6. I think that was the season that I piece together, but it's what Nathan said. It's just a craft. It's not even getting better at the racing thing, but getting better at knowing what you should and shouldn't do and when. And I don't know, telling lap cars to pull out of the way, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
I'm here
So
for you.
Austin Hollyfield, my vote next season for most improved driver. I don't want to take anything away from Zach. He's been really
Zach
good.
was great.
He ran so well at Rockingham, and I felt there's a part of me that feels bad. You know, there's a little part of me that feels bad that I passed him. But I was pretty pissed off at that point, so I was just driving out of spite. Jan finishes in 13th, Matt Schlosser in 14th. Schlosser started really well. Started in 5th. I think he hit the wall a couple of times.
He was having a lot of trouble.
He had good pace.
He had good pace early, but his long run, he really struggled like going consistently long run, and he would get into the wall trying to drive it a little hard, I think. Because I mean, he also, I think, had the same thought that we all had, was he needed an all-star day, and you and Hunter both have a bad day. So if you had wrecked, I mean, Saucer probably has a chance. So he's trying to.
Yeah, completely different conversation with a completely different guest. Nathan would be replaced right now if Matt had won it. Steve Roman in 15th, which surprises me because I thought Steve would have good pace.
I think Steve got caught up in something, is my guess, because Steve had good pace all night at practice, it felt like. So
yeah, that would make sense. Steve's another guy that hard luck hits him hard.
He had a good looking paint, though.
Yeah,
he always has good looking paints.
Possibly,
and I don't want to hear anything about his stinking luck. He won Kansas last year.
Probably paint scheme of the year worthy. Paint. I'm 0. Cole Maxwell finishes in 16th. Eric Breeding finishes in 17th. Josh Freed in 18th. Garrett Rainey in 19th. Josh Jackson in 20th. Tyler Bergert 21st. Pascal Samard in 22nd. Chad end of the lead lap in 23rd. And then Jeremy, one lap down, he was struggling really bad on his tires, and he pit at some point late. He was also had an incredible save that has made the opening intro video. But he said he was struggling really bad, and he pit. Hunter finishes down in 25th, which puts me 21 spots ahead of him, 21 points equivalent ahead of him. Jordan Jorno finishes 26th. Corey Rutherford in 27th. Ryan Dye, who's
season of horrors continues.
House absolutely hates him because it shut the power off on him. He finishes 28th when he had a pretty decent run going. Gary Clark down in 29th. I'm not sure. I think something happened to Gary. He pulled off at some point. I'm not quite sure what happened. I saw him in the pits for a long time. And then Paul Sargent finishes down in 30th, only ran 18 laps. I'm not sure what happened to Paul, but
looking at Gary 50 laps down, that's about when that caution came out. So I think he got caught up in that final caution before we went back to live.
Yeah, that would make sense. Which sucks because I don't think Gary would have been. He was doing all right, I think.
He had 2 incident points all night. Gary had a decent race going on, to be honest.
From practice, he actually looked like he was going to do okay in that race. So that kind of stinks that he didn't get the opportunity to finish the race and show that off. But yeah, so we get to the championship point standings, and we got lucky. So little bit of luck goes a long way. My gosh, he is knocking everything over.
You get one of these.
I do. Maybe I get one. I don't know if they're ever gonna get bought or.
You know where we didn't get lucky? Where's
that?
The team championship.
We did not get lucky in the team championship. We'll get there. We'll get there in a second. I know. I'm excited to talk about it too. So yeah, I finished first in the points, 4 points clear of Hunter.
4 points enough, man.
4 points enough. Yeah,
That's all that matters.
He had such a good season, and it stinks that it went this way. I'm still not a huge fan of the chase, but I'm not gonna complain. So I had 3 wins on the season, 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Hunter had 9 wins, 14 top 5s, and 16 top 10s. That's for the whole season. Hayden Palumbo finishes 3rd in points. I'm only going to do the top 10 in points, so apologies ahead of time. Hayden did not get a win, but he was really close a couple of times. 6 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and 1 pole. I don't remember where that was at. That's impressive.
I remember where Hayden got the pole.
Where'd Hayden get a pole at? I'm not
Did he get a super speedway pole at Daytona?
I'm not.
Yeah, he did. Because I
That
was.
sounds right?
He got the Daytona pole.
Season.
Yeah, he's unreal at super speedways. Hayden has a killer instinct for that, hands down. I mean, he's good everywhere. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I mean by that, but he is a dang good super speedway racer.
I'm glad he's my teammate, especially for super speedways. Matt Schlosser finishes 4th in the points. 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s on the year, no poles. Also, can we talk about the fact that Hayden went from like last in the points after the first race because he missed it to 3rd in points? That's pretty impressive. Only 27 points back of me, I guess. I almost said the leader, but I guess whatever. That'd be me. Brantley Gainey, 6th in points. Oh, just kidding. Luke in 5th. Luke Peterson, 5th in points, 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and a pole also.
Yeah, I had a pole this year.
Where'd you get a pole at? Where'd you grab your pole?
Vegas? Did we race at Vegas this year? We're one of those. It's one of those 1.5 miles that I snuck one. No. Thompson. I led the most laps at Thompson and qualified on the pole, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Until I died.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
But no, I think what was neat about that was I missed a race. I have one less race than anybody this year.
Impressive. That is, yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, you do.
Because I missed Seca and Michigan, so I had to take my provisional for Laguna Seca.
Dang. Brantley, 6th in points. This is getting confusing now. I'm so far down the list. 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Jan Van Leer had 2 wins, went back-to-back at Thompson and Wilkesboro. 7 top 5s, 13 top 10s. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I finished 2nd, and it was still bleh.
Andy finishes 7th in points, 10 top 5s, 12 top 10s. Josh Freed in 9th with 4 top 5s and 8 top 10s. And then Paul Ellison, 10th in the points. Paul also missed a race in the playoffs. 1 top 5, 9 top 10s on the year. Oh, man. That was a lot of talking. Ugh.
I did want to hit on that. We talked about it at the very beginning, and his name is not brought up because he's not in the top 10. But Matichek in the playoffs. Matichek in the playoffs gets 3rd at Bristol, 10th at Coda, wins Dega, gets 8th at Dover, and then or 8th at Dover, and then Kentucky was 3rd.
Yeah.
So he didn't finish outside the top 10 in the chase and had 3 top 5s, including a win.
Insane.
That was insane.
Probably
his playoffs were amazing.
Yeah, that's somebody that has a real life racecraft and knows what to do, and then starts applying what you have to do on the service.
Yep.
With that, he's going to be a threat.
If he makes if he would have been in the chase, he'd be the champion as a rookie, which would be nuts.
Would have been crazy.
Has anybody ever? Has there been anybody to win a rookie of the year in the championship? Oh yeah, but I mean,
besides the guy who wins everything.
No. You're the only person, technically, and it's a technicality because it was season 1. It still counts.
Yeah. Counts. I don't really.
It still counts.
Whatever.
But I mean, yeah, no.
I mean, hell, I didn't even win Rookie of the Year, so it don't.
Count down your 8 championships. Nathan's got 3 of them, right?
4.
4.
Yeah, I got 4.
So that leaves 4 up for grabs, which are 2 to Ryan, 1 to John, 1 to Andy.
Yep.
Yep.
So there you go.
All homegrown Venom guys.
There it is.
Pretty cool.
I think I finished 2nd in one of my part-time seasons.
Probably.
I think so.
Because your name's Nathan Reynolds.
Yeah. My name is Nathan Reynolds. I'm good at everything. On to the team points. I don't know all the team points. All I know is Alabama gang, the best. Third straight season.
You want it.
Third straight season as the team champs. Luke, you can read off everybody else.
Interstellar comes in 2nd. They were 56 points behind us. Work in Progress made it in 3rd. They were 100 back, give or take. Followed by Broke Guy in 4th. Insert Coin in 5th. Super Kick finished in 6th. Pony Express in 7th. Raging Moose finished 8th. I don't know who these teams are at this point. Turn 200 finished in 10th, so I always forget that they have a team that they sponsor. But NCR was 9th.
I don't know. NCR's
There were
Jordan
two.
Jorno and Jordan Jorno and
Is,
Gary
yeah,
Clark.
and Gary, yeah. And then Pony Express 2, Insert Coin International, and Venom Free Agents.
Yeah, Team
Close it out of the 13 teams.
Team 200 lost 2/3 of their driver core. Pascal was the only one to finish the season. Rob Williams
got injury.
Yeah, driver injury.
Injury.
His PC gave up the ghost. RJ, janky internet, I think was his thing. He's moving also to Charlotte.
Well, no, he was temporarily moved to Charlotte, and then he moved back to Florida, and then the hurricane hit, and
he had a lot going on.
So
too.
he's been moving around. I think he's looking to actually permanently move to North Carolina here sometime soon, though.
I thought that was his. I thought that's what. Shout out RJ for sponsoring the podcast, by the way.
Absolutely.
The janky internet thing was his words, also not mine.
He does have bad internet.
I thought he had said he was moving up to Charlotte like full time sometime.
He is. Yeah, he's trying to.
Yeah. So good luck, RJ, on your move. Hopefully it works out.
I was trying to help him get hired on at Jordan's with that.
That would have been cool.
Well, it was the same one that I had told you to inquire about, but you couldn't relocate.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Who all's on Interstellar, by the way?
That'd be Schlosser.
Is it Schlosser?
Freed, Chad, and Lockett.
There we go.
4 there. Which they have dissolved. Which
wait, really?
Yeah. Did you not see
that? Did I miss that? Yeah. No, apparently I did not read team news.
Interstellar dissolved. So we're gonna have to get Schlosser on here sometime soon and try to talk to him and see what happened there. I am curious. But we're gonna head to a new segment before we get done with this thing. We're gonna read off some viewer questions whenever Luke gets done perusing the newspaper.
I'm just blown away by that because Saucer's basically just stepping away from the team.
I don't know what's going on, but
that's basically what his announcement says is he wants to go solo again.
I am mind-boggling.
That's interesting.
All right, well, I gotta go make a phone call. So you guys let know.
All right.
You
not surprised. So Luke, let's start this new thing up. It's a new.
Is this
segment.
questions for everybody?
Or the question segment.
Yeah, questions for everybody. For everybody. We can all answer them. I think that's fair. It's not. I definitely came up with the idea while listening to Ask Junior today, but it's not Ask Junior. It's Ask all of us.
Yeah, buddy, I'll be in there in just a minute.
Don't you mean dear Denny?
I got a couple minutes left. I got to go play.
All right.
Are you leaving us?
I said I got a couple minutes and then I got to go play.
Yeah, hurry this up. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting angry.
Jeremy hit 3 questions right off the bat. Toughest guy to pass in the league. Rapid fire. Send it. Who you got?
I'll let you start.
I mean, if I'm going to say the toughest person to pass in the league, I'm going to tell you that it's Kyle Zittle all day long. That man is Ryan Newman incarnate, and if he decides he wants to be in front of you, you're not going around him. It's the Stonewall of Zittle. That's why I try to get in front of him as quick as I can and plant him behind me so that all of you get slow behind him if he can't catch me, which doesn't always happen, but it's a decent plan.
There's been many conversations had about this. Zittle is definitely one of the harder ones. Andy's another hard one to pass. Andy has really good racecraft.
If it's current drivers and I can't use the Ross Chastain answer of saying myself, then I would say Andy. Because I feel like Andy always raced me harder than anybody.
Well, maybe it's because you wrecked him all the fucking time.
Yeah.
There weren't reasons, but anyway.
I'm not going to argue.
He followed that up with who is the most fun to race with? To race hard with. Who is the most fun to race hard with? Who's your favorite person to race hard around?
Everybody. I like to race everybody. I'd say probably Luke. Hayden's pretty fun to race.
He and John do end up beside each other way too much.
Jeremy is another one. Andy again. Nathan, if he was still here, Nathan was fun to race hard with. I think me and Nathan almost wrecked each other. That's not true. I almost wrecked Nathan at Vegas going for the win.
Right. And Bristol.
I didn't wreck you at Bristol.
We almost wrecked at Bristol. That was closer than Vegas.
What?
What
Oh,
movie?
when I crossed, I swiped your back bumper going,
Yeah.
crossing over. I forgot about that.
You mentioned it, but Andy would be that for me. Anytime that I'm in a hard battle and me and Andy can get side by side. I mean, it was Wilkesboro this year. I went to his bumper going into 1 and 2, moved him, let him get solid, got back under him, and we finished side by side at the line.
Yeah.
He's a blast, and Jeremy's always one for me. Me and Jeremy, when we get side by side, I know he's going to lay it on my door, but I know he's not going to wreck me most of the time.
Right.
So I like racing around Jeremy.
I would have to say Jeremy or Chad, probably because not only in Venom, but I race them in officials. And
Yep.
run them really hard, especially Chad. I see him regularly, and then Jeremy's another one. I feel like he's another one that kind of ups his game whenever he's around me and tries to race me harder. It's always fun. I can never really be mad at him for driving me hard.
His final question was: you're going to the white flag. Who makes you the most nervous being on your bumper? So who's taking you out coming to the white flag, boys?
See, I interpreted this differently. Just to see them in my mirrors, Chad.
That's fair.
Chad Stearns, because he's always got tire. Don't know.
He's always got tire.
He's always got fucking tire. Michigan, those last fucking 8 to 10 laps at Michigan, Jesus.
If I am checking my rearview mirror and I'm looking, I don't want to see the 2. Every time John ends up behind me and he's coming close, I mean, it was that way at Nashville. I was scared to death he was going to run into the back of me so he could finish 1 spot better.
I fucking will too. I ain't scared.
Yes, you will. I mean, it is what it is. So again, I mean, I can't say I'm not getting that way. I literally just talked about moving Andy to finish second at Wilkesboro. So I mean, you're here to get spots, baby.
The bad part is I've kind of started to learn how to move people out of the way without wrecking them. So
racecraft.
I haven't, but I've learned how to just flat out dump people and then tell them it's their own fault.
Hey, that was on you,
Nathan's good at
I had a rough weekend.
Let's see. Jeremy about webcams. Andy asked, what do you attribute your success to and who's your toughest competitor? I think toughest competitor ties into what we've been talking about, but yeah, that man over there. That man over there is who I'd attribute a whole lot of my success to, but the other one I would go to is team leader. Garrett's like really good. He says this every time we do the Daytona 24. I can tell you what to do. I probably can't do it, but I can tell you what you need to do to be better. And Garrett's really good. I think it's those Alabama roots, but he's really good at grounding you in the mental focus of things. If I want tactical advice or how to drive, I'm going to Nathan. And if I want to be calmed down because I'm freaking out, I go to Garrett. Because when I go freaking out to get Nathan, Nathan's like, and you'll be all right. Just do the thing I told you to do. Like, just do the thing. I've already told you how to fix this. Fix it.
Yeah.
I don't get. I learned that this year is I never get nervous. Like I never get nervous when I'm driving, and I never really had a moment behind the wheel where my heart rate really got up. But I swear, sitting there at the end of the championship race or the end of Bristol watching Zittel, or trying to coach Luke at Kansas last year after my whole ordeal happened, like that's probably moments that my heart rate has just skyrocketed watching. It makes me nervous for watching Bentley, whether it's, and I do that in baseball too. I mean, it's the things that you can't control.
Yeah,
what was the question?
Yeah,
right.
Attribute most of my
success
to on track. Oh, sorry, Nathan. You can go ahead if you.
No, I was just going to say the double off what Luke said with the Garrett thing. I mean, who do I get whenever I do the charity races or some big event to be my spotter? It's always Garrett. So, yeah. I mean, for the things that I need to say, I mean, even though I say I don't get nervous, I still need somebody in my ear to kind of keep me calm and to think straight, and that's definitely him.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say again on track wise, like you said, definitely Nathan. I mean, I had even said it in my interview. There was stuff I was doing at Kentucky that he taught me the last time we went to Kentucky. And it was just like, it was such a small thing. And I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to out it. And I don't need everybody else following along and getting better because I told them this. At least not till after next season, maybe. But it's so many things that I wouldn't even think about, or that maybe I've thought about, but I just haven't tried. And Nathan's like, oh yeah, that works. Like, you should do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's always nice to know that you're thinking along the right lines, or maybe you have the right idea, but you're going about it the wrong way on track. And then mentally, and I'm glad you brought up the mental thing because that's huge. I don't think people realize how big of a thing it is. It's not
Yeah.
Nathan. It's not Nathan. That's for sure. But
I know. I think I know where you're going.
Garrett and Paul. Paul is a really underrated one, and Paul has literally been there the entire time. Like, from KBI in season 2, to now. I mean, Paul's always been there, even when he's not on my team. Paul's kind of the guy that I've messaged from time to time, and I always race a lot better when he's on my team. So it's gonna be an adjustment period getting used to not having him there. So yeah, that's who I attribute my success to.
I think what we all wound around there too is teammates, and that's the other one, Ziddle.
Yeah,
Ziddle is always someone that's there just that's going to talk you down or give you that. Ziddle's like my mom in that way. Ziddle's going to tell you to jerk it up by your bootstraps instead of babying you. Ziddle's going to tell you quit whining because you need to get it together and keep digging.
Yeah,
if Ziddle is not happy with being compared to my mom, that's fine, but she's one of the best women I know, so here we are.
Are you calling Ziddle one of the best women you know also?
He's one of the best dudes I know. Ziddle's good people.
Ziddle gave me a tough shit before the championship race, and I was like, he's not wrong.
Man, he's gonna tell you how it is, and sometimes you need to hear how it is.
Andy's another one. Road course.
Oh
racing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Andy's.
I talk to Andy a lot. Andy's really observant and pays attention to people even outside his team. And it's super helpful if you need help. I think anybody in this league is that way, though. We've talked about it a lot, but if you reach out to somebody, they're not going to tell you to kick rocks. They're going to talk to you.
They'll help. I'll help too. There's just some things that I'm going to keep.
Look, John K wants a couple championships, okay? Yeah. Then he'll mellow out.
There's ways to help people and then not to spill all the beans. I mean, you have to keep the competitive edge.
That is true. Yeah, I just suck at teaching also. That's my thing. So
I mean, as much as I tell people, there's still things that I've never told people. I mean, so
except Bentley.
I'm much better at showing people.
Well, he don't use the pedals yet.
But we're getting there.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Was that it?
Nathan has to bring it home. We have one more.
That's what
There's a final question for the night, which is, what's it like to wake up with Cole in your house?
Well, he's not in my house. I don't want.
Yeah, that's right. He's at your mom's house. And also, what juice box color does Cole come over with? Those were the last 2 questions.
He brings over the green Kool-Aid jammers.
Is it Capri Sun?
No, green Kool-Aid jammers.
Yeah, that was pretty much the end of the questions. Andy asked if Garrett got his turkey sandwich. That was the last one.
Yeah, he got it at Oxford about 6 seasons ago. when I wrecked him. There's a long story behind that, but
I figured.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so this is a late ad because we already recorded and there was more questions to be asked. So Tommy asked if you had no budget and could get absolutely anything you wanted, what would be on your menu on the menu at your championship banquet? Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwiches. Chick-fil-A slaps. Waffle House, fucking hash browns, and waffles, obviously. Duh. Gotta get them. I can never just remember it off the top of my head. Covered, I think that's cheese. Covered, chunked, and peppered. Hash browns, slap. Waffle House is amazing. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So we got Chick-fil-A sandwiches, Waffle House stuff. My grandma's baked beans, even though she's passed away, she made the best baked beans, and they are delicious. My girlfriend's mac and cheese, also very good. I have some in the fridge. I'm very excited. Had it for leftovers last night. Still slaps. And then her pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, because those are also fantastic. I see some people saying steak. I don't like steak that much, so I'll pass. And my mom's meatloaf. Ask Cole. I'm sure he'll tell you it's delicious. Tyler Logan asks, favorite and least favorite battle of the season? When do I get a turkey sandwich? Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Ass or tits? What's the dumbest track you'd like to see run in the league? And my favorite beer. I'm going to answer these in reverse order. Favorite beer? Probably Busch, regular Busch, or Yingling. And Corona. It's a toss-up between the three. It depends on how I'm feeling. I've been feeling Corona lately. Went to a wedding like 2 weekends ago. Corona slaps. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Good with or without a lime, fight me. Dumbest track you'd like to see run in the league? Jesus Christ, I don't even know. Well, we already run New Atlanta, so I can't answer that. I'm sure that'll ruffle some feathers. Dumbest track I'd like to see run? Bathurst was really the answer, but we already ran it, so god dang, I don't know. Chili Bowl. Chili Bowl is also a good answer. Not a dumb track, but it'd be hilarious. Ass or tits? Both. Ass, but both. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Hell yeah! I love pineapple on pizza. When do you get a turkey sandwich? I don't know. Garrett's the one that hands out turkey sandwiches, not me. The turkey sandwich thing is from a story line that I wrote in Team News in like after season 2 is how I got fired from Chevy because I was moving to Superkick to drive Fords. And that's how I got fired from Chevy, was over a turkey sandwich. You can go find it if you want. It's a read. Favorite and least favorite battle of the season? Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I'd say I have 2 favorites, and they both happened very early in the season. Charlotte with obviously you, Tyler. That was a blast. Off that green white checkered, you got me on the didn't jump the restart. You got me on the restart and fighting to get back past you. And I said it after the championship race when we were chilling in Discord. Your speed on 1.5 miles is phenomenal, and you were very hard to pass. That was a fun. And then Rockingham, like driving from the back of the very back of the field all the way to the front, every battle along the way. That whole thing was so much fun. Least favorite battle of the season? Probably. I don't know. I don't know if I have a least favorite one. Battling with Chad, battling with Chad Stearns at the end of Michigan, just because I was terrified I was going to get past and choke it away. That would have been hilarious. Then Hayden asks, Prince, Elvis, or Michael Jackson, if you could see them alive in their prime, which one? Johnny Cash. And what is your realistic, obtainable dream car? And if money was no object, if money was no object car. Realistically obtainable. I don't really know how realistically obtainable it is, but 70 Chevelle SS. I just like the way they look. I was very pumped when Flinky posted one in Discord the other day. And that's why I said I thought it was a 70, but it may have been a 71 or 72, but I don't care. 70 Chevelle is always the answer. Always has been the answer. If money was no object, I don't know. I like simple things, so old muscle cars are kind of my deal. I don't know. I mean, it's the answer for both of them because I'll never have the money to get a Chevelle. So, yeah, that's it. Or a square body Chevy pickup. I can find those though. So, that's it. No more questions. Be happy I even did this. That's all we got time for this week. Hopefully you.
So they're a champion here, a champion here.
Yeah.
Need to channel the energy. Everything's gonna be all right.
And a future champion.
That's
champion
right.
There.
That's right.
Wave at him.
Man. Hi, Bentley.
Guys, I've got him practicing. Should see him in Daytona if we can stay up that long past bedtime.
I'm excited for that because that youngin deserves a shot in a seat, man.
We're gonna hang out in the back and just get some seat time, but and let everything unfold, and maybe if we have a chance at the end, he's gonna be. We're gonna be smart. If we got a 6-year-old, 7-year-old at the time in the field, we're gonna be smart about it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Bam. Yeah. Thanks, Luke, for jumping on as a co-host. Appreciate it.
Always.
Nathan, thank you for all the help. Bentley, thank you for making a cameo. You're gonna be.
We needed that.
You're an awesome dude. Boom. Yeah, he's got it down. Star in the making right there.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Nathan, for coming on with us. Also,
Oh, heck yeah.
I didn't know you talk. I know you didn't talk much, but
No, it's good. It's good. I
Yeah.
talk enough.
yeah.
It's cool to sit back and listen and then just fill in places.
Yeah. That's it. That's a wrap on season 8. Champion, baby.
Big time over there.
It sounds weird. It sounds so weird to say. And the part I didn't talk about in my interview at the end of the race, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Did it in the Fago truck too. It's pretty dope.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That was the first paint scheme I ever got made, so very special. There'll be a new one next season.
What do you call this thing?
The Venomcast.
Okay, thanks for watching the Venomcast.
Thanks for watching Venomcast.
He said it better than I ever could. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks, maybe. Who knows? Sometime soon.
There's a program coming up. Later, y'all.
Later. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite Venom driver?
You and
Attaboy.
my dad.
There it is. That's the
he's
one I wanted.
retired. He's old. He retired.
Hey, Mark Martin's still my favorite driver, and he hadn't driven a NASCAR car in years.
That's fair. Bentley, are you going to win a championship?
Yes.
Attaboy.
Hands down. Hey, he's going to be the first rookie to ever win a championship. Watch out.
He might be. I'm gonna.
I believe it.
I'm gonna start a. Oh wait, I own part of Superkick. Never mind.
Are we still recording?
Maybe.
I'm actually going to cut the blur on in my background so they can't see that shit.
Yeah,
there's a reflection. No, there's a reflection of my other monitor, so you can like see behind the mirror.
We can see.
I remember that from last time. Correct.
Hey, let me
This background's pretty good.
Let me add some stuff to the background here.
I like Nathan's pulling trophies in. I'm over here.
He's flexing his trophies.
Let's
And I guess
I don't use them for anything else. So.
Well,
I don't think I'll ever see the one trophy I've earned.
I don't even know if I'm gonna get a championship trophy. So
here, just watch the bottom of the screen if you can. Just let me know if they're in the picture.
He's gonna keep going.
Oh, there's more trophies. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Look at all my trophies. I look like an elementary schooler with all my trophies. If I went to Luke's house, I'd see ones from the 2nd grade, the 3rd grade, but I'm Nathan Reynolds. I got big boy ones.
I'm so glad I have this recording right now. This is great.